You can go from building toys to building ChatGPT with just 5 research papers. The ideas start simple and end absolutely ridiculous. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what these papers are and more importantly, why they are so revolutionary. Plus, there is a bonus in this red envelope. But first, the paper I found while working on a language model. I built the model and trained it, but it wasn't working. The problem was the model was cheating. It was not learning but memorizing the answers. No matter how I tried it, it was still not working. I was furious, but then I found this paper, a anti-memorization trick. This punishes the model for memorizing and forces it to actually learn. It also has a name. The AI people call it regularization. It's quite an interesting paper. And if we had an interesting meter, it would be a 6. Only because the next papers go harder. And it's also quite an easy read. About 3 cups of coffee from start to finish. For our next paper, what's this? That's a bonus. Bonus for the end? Just kidding. This is an article by Andres Karpathy, The Unreasonable Effectiveness of RNN. And the other one, I'll tell you later. For problems like these, we use RNN. And if you don't know what that is, here's a 20-second explanation. An RNN splits the sentence into chunks. Each block of this RNN processes one chunk and then pass the information forward to the next block. And then the next block also does the same thing and then pass the information to the next, then to the next, then to the next. By the end, the model has context over the whole sentence and produces an answer. But what if we slam bigger blobs to this thing? That's exactly what this paper does. Not just bigger, but better. Same sentence, same chunks. But this time when it reaches the end, it knows that these 2 chunks are more important. This network is intelligent. Interesting, right? You'll probably need 4 cups of coffee for this paper. Actually, make it 5. And on the interesting meter, it would be a solid 7. But for our next paper, you only need 1. And it's a solid 10. This paper is clever. This is our RNN, basically a game of telephone. One blob telling the other and so on. But what if there was a more direct way? That's exactly what this paper does. No middleman, no information passing blob to blob. A vector pointing directly. This paper called the pointer network. Ooh, couldn't have named it better. And from here on, you don't need coffee. Yes, you guessed it. The next paper is attention is all you need. This paper is ridiculous. We went from machine translation to building the entire translator. Image captioning, just generate the whole image. Why stop at that? Generate the entire gallery. Longest river? Just generate the whole river. Oh wait, never mind. Back to the paper. Self-attention, cross-attention, multi-head attention. Okay, just look at the things this paper introduces. These ideas are unfathomable. Okay, am I doing it again? This paper changed everything. Everything after this. Just reimagined reality on a different scale. Just look at this training compute optimal language models paper. But before that, the second and final bonus, the annotated transformer. This is actually a line-by-line code implementation of the attention paper. Super helpful. Coming back to our scaling paper. This paper actually perfectly encapsulates the landscape after the attention paper. This provides a detailed insight into scaling an LLM. The models we are building now, 1 trillion freaking parameters. We went from one line at a time to whatever this is. And honestly, I don't even know how to define this. And maybe the only way I can define it. All the papers and articles are linked in the description.